So I just wanted to give an insight into how I light a lot of my films with low budgets, 1 or 2 lights, or just using natural light, and show that you can get really good results by doing this. As filmmakers, we often don't get enough time to throw up lighting fixtures for projects, running tight on time and money, and you can still get really amazing results and get great images. So I just wanted to talk through how I shot some of my images and let you know some tips that I think might be able to help. So the first shot I want to talk about is for a racing documentary I filmed recently. It was all shot on my Sony a7 III, and for this shot I just mounted it on the car window with a suction mount, as you can see here. I did some tests in my own car beforehand. I found out it was quite shaky, but I think for the look of the film it actually worked to add some tension. For these kind of shots, it's very much picking your moment. I mean, the track was circular so the sun would move, but all this light coming onto my subject's face and on his hands and on the dashboard is because the sun is backlighting him and sidelighting him. So you wouldn't choose a shot where the sun's blasting him in the face. I've also exposed for the sky, so everything in the car is quite shadowy. We were going for quite a gritty look, so I like this, just seeing his silhouette. But yeah, it's basically picking the shots that you want to use and avoiding the ones where the subject is sort of blasted in the face or overexposed. Now the next shot I want to talk about, or sequence of shots, is from a boxing documentary. Now it's not all natural light, there is one light source there, but it's super easy to do. The actual setup is here. You can see, I think it's an Aperture 120D with a Fresnel. Now you can use any hard light source, you could use a reflector dish on the front, anything, you just need that. And also a fog machine or haze machine, which when you fan it out makes these really nice beams. And we're actually using the boxing bags to block the light source in most cases, so it's keeping this nice bit of contrast here. And then the atmosphere in the air is causing all these nice beams to be caught by the camera. And you can actually see the light source here, which we didn't really mind. It was quite a heightened look. And it also casts these really nice sort of specular highlights and reflections on the bags. The only natural light in this image is coming from the left. There's a window and it's making a sort of cooler fill to the bags and to the subject. But we've mainly positioned the subject here because behind camera there's a brick wall. And so shooting towards that would make the image look flat and give us no depth at all. Switching from documentary now to music videos, this shot has 2 lights in it. There is one overhead and one tube light in the piano itself. Now you might need some rigging assistance for a shot like this because it needs to be quite high up. I think you could also replicate this effect if you were sat down or if the light stand was in shot and you took a still frame afterwards and comped it out. So you can see the actual behind the scenes here for a similar shot. I just have my SmallRig 120D put up high, clamped up and safety chained with a softbox on it. And I've took the crate off just so it spreads a little bit further and gets a bit more output because I had quite a lot of ND in my camera. But all this light coming from above is just from one softbox and it's causing these nice little highlights on my subject, and it's also lighting up a lot of the floor, so it's doing pretty much all the heavy lifting. And then the second light is a tube light, so a pavo tube, which just lights up the inside of the piano, so it's doing all this work and causing these reflections. I just didn't want to lose the piano into darkness as my top light wasn't really doing enough, and so the tube light was creating just little edges on my subject and also making the piano here and here just stand out a little bit more. And we also put some haze into the room and fanned it out so that the top light was a bit softer and wasn't so harsh on my subject. So the next shot is a really nice example of how you can use locations and practical lamps and lights to really augment and motivate your lighting. So we shot this horror themed music video in a really nice location, and I thought I'd keep some of the lamps in shot and use them to fit the era and the look. So the first practical lamp you can see here, and the second one is just off screen making these nice little highlights on the chair on the back wall. The first lamp is doing a little bit in terms of reflections on the table, and it's just generally lighting that warmth into the room. This light on the right side of my subject's face is actually just augmented and motivated from the lights. I put a tube light in a pavo tube, set it to maybe 3200 Kelvin, maybe 2800, and it's just pushing that warmth into the image. This blue cool tone and the key is really soft. It's coming from the window, mainly on the left. We just positioned our subject here so the window lights up a nice bit of her face on the back wall. And I've just put up a sheet of bleached muslin and shot a light through it, a SmallRig 120B. It's probably on maximum output as the muslin cuts quite a lot of light, but it's just making this super nice and soft key light on my subject's face. So this is another example of how you can position your subject with the natural light, side lighting them, and also how you can use locations and practical lamps to make your image look nicer. Now this is only a short video, but if you want to see more like this, let me know. I also do some short form content pretty similar on my TikTok, so make sure to check that out too.